Hello, friends. Welcome to Oh for Food's Sake, where we dive into cooking, food, and everything in between. I am Jamie.
I am Janice.
And this is our pilot episode, and we want to talk about why we started this in the first place.
Jamie and I actually met while we were in school, majoring in communication with an emphasis in media production from California State University, East Bay. And we both kind of bonded over the fact that we both started college really late in life and the fact that it was a lot more difficult than it probably would have been when we were younger.
And the fact that we love food, but we also love to cook food. And we love everything about cooking, whether it be ingredients, shopping for ingredients, trying new things, going to food trucks, drive-ins, all different types of restaurants. Anything you think of, we're down for. So we really get excited about anything food related and anything that we can eat.
We probably should have prefaced this with neither of us are professional anything.
We're professional at living life.
We're not even professionals at that.
I mean, we haven't gone to jail, so I think we're okay. We don't kill kittens or babies.
No.
We don't do drugs. We stay in our lane.
We stay in our lane. I'm actually a master's student at San Francisco State University, mastering in broadcast and electronic communication. I have like the strongest imposter syndrome coursing through my veins right now. It's kind of sad. A master's program will make you question your own sanity. But this is why I'm doing this also is podcasting is kind of fun for me. I've done it for a couple other shows, and this is another labor of love for me.
Most definitely is a labor of love. I've not done a podcast before. However, I'm a big fan of podcasts and listen to them all the time. And I think Janice and I have always talked about jokingly that maybe we'd start one day. And here we are, folks, we started it. And I have a background in communications. I've worked in branding and PR in different companies. I am a blog owner of Oh for Food's Sake. I am the owner of Miss Jamie Lee's Cookies. Talk about imposter syndrome, about owning your own company. That happens a lot too. Like, what? I have my own thing. What? Yeah. So if you didn't know, now you know. I think our passions just kind of blended together with food and talking about food and enjoy just getting into the kitchen. So we decided to make this podcast, and hopefully everyone likes listening to it as well.
I'm just going to reiterate it one more time is that we're not professional cooks or anything. We are like professional opinion makers.
And I think here we want to talk about all different types because we have different family backgrounds and different types of food that we ate growing up and different types of food we like to make as adults. Food that we like to seek out monthly, if not a couple months, that we like to go eat. And then also, I think for us, there is a genuine love of being in the kitchen and cooking and sharing with other people. And it's part of the bigger reason why I think more as this podcast comes to life, that we will be having guests coming on that are in the culinary world, whether it be restaurants or they own their own shops or food trucks and or working from their home doing baked goods or whichever. But I think it's a good thing to look at the whole Bay Area and look at people all over with different backgrounds who either went to school being a chef or just a person who learned on their own and why they do what they do and what are some of the funniest moments in the kitchen, what are some scary moments in the kitchen, what are the funny and that goes into their business as well. So I think it all encompassing all of that and then dive into some really awesome ingredients.
And Jamie just brought up a pretty good fact that our backgrounds are different culturally. I'm Filipino and Jamie's Portuguese. That's definitely a very different flavor palette that we both grew up on, but we're both very adventurous with food. I like to say we're pretty adventurous, James.
I think we are. And we like to take food to eat and sit and enjoy whatever that is. If there is a really good place we want to go to, we spend a day, we'll travel, we'll go drive. We'll find that thing or that place and we will make it as a day and as an experience, which I think food should be. But I know a lot of people at home are scared of making certain things at home, whether it be making your own noodles, whether it be rice or pasta type of noodles, or afraid to make that bolognese or that paella. And that's one thing that I want to bring people in to talk about. It shouldn't be so scary, but at the same time, what are some funny things in the kitchen that's happened that didn't work out? Because a lot of people think that you have to be good in the kitchen to make anything yummy, when it's really not the case. I don't think you and I walked into the kitchen. We did have some wherewithal a little bit. We didn't walk in knowing everything and then everything turned out yummy.
Everything's trial and error, I feel like, for me.
And now it's the point where you and I, we can walk into the kitchen, we can go boom, bada bing. That's just how we do. But that also took years of years of working and doing stuff, and also just trying to replicate stuff that we ate, to be honest.
And again, we're not professional anything. Anything we've done in the kitchen is done through experimentation. And I think for me, I like to cook because it's kind of therapeutic. It's fun for me. I can be dead on my feet tired and I can still go in there and cook up something pretty quick, and it kind of helps alleviate, I don't know, stress for me somehow. I don't know how. And there could be others of you listening right now that maybe feel the same way.
It definitely is something that de-stresses. I like working with my hands. I like getting in there, trying different flavors, like different depths of flavors. I don't like dishes. So if you know anyone who likes to do dishes, you can send them over. That's the one part of cooking I don't like, is that part. So there is that, but also just making things really yummy. I also think I like the fact that I know that I made something from scratch, even though it's great to go out in different places, but I like to know how I can make it at home. Obviously, we're in a situation called pandemic and quarantine where we did have to stay inside for a long time. So I feel like both you and I took that advantage of making new stuff, but at the same time, we both knew how to make stuff from scratch, which I think is kind of imperative if this is the type of roller coaster we're going to go through, to make stuff at home.
For me, this is the second time within my career in general that I had to learn how to make things or cook things from scratch because of work. I was furloughed at the beginning of the pandemic, so it really just forced me to go back and start experimenting in the kitchen again and trying out new things. I got really good with almond flour, just FYI. Now that I'm back at work, it's a totally different story, of course, but I still like to try to get in there every now and then. Like I was saying earlier, it's a total stress reliever. But when I was furloughed, it's not like I could go out there. Well, I mean, I could just go out there and buy whatever food that I'm used to buying, like that's already ready made. Because, that stuff gets pricey, and I don't want to have to spend money if I don't have to. That's the other perks of being a broke college student for a majority of your life, is you learn how to cut corners certain ways. So hopefully we'll be able to teach you how to cut some corners if you don't already know how to.
We know our way around the kitchen pretty well, but if something doesn't happen the first time around, I do get grumpy bear. Like it's a real thing. I have to calm down for a second because I'm used to like it working the first time, and it doesn't always happen that way. And also to what Janice was saying about being a broke college student, but also just making sure that your money is being stretched to, the pennies of what you're buying, to ensure that you're eating nice, yummy food. And it doesn't have to be like over the top, all these things and ingredients. A lot of stuff goes a long way for like shallots and garlic and herbs. Really can transform a whole meal, poultry, fish, you name it, into a lot of different things. And I think sometimes we kind of get really excited of trying new things, like making focaccia bread for the first time during quarantine. I got excited and tried, and then did a bunch of different batches. And then I was able to trade toilet paper for focaccia bread because there was a shortage of toilet paper in the first part of this quarantine. Likewise with cookies.
That's what the premise of the show really is all the things that have come out of our experiences with cooking and eating and food and just food adventures, every bit of life that comes in between cooking and eating.
Yes. And to what Janice is saying, like some of the biggest joys I think you and I both get is sharing food with people that we made. And I love just making them.
I love that.
And the biggest thing is seeing like the smile and just like, my gosh, it's so good, is enough for me to do that. But also I like being that person who can make someone feel good by like a nice hearty meal or cookies or a pie or something like that. So it's also sharing that, but also we both connect in that way with eating food, and it's a time for spending time with people. And I feel like culturally it's different because we came from different backgrounds, where mine was we always sat down for dinner, we always had meals together, but I don't think there was such an emphasis of making like really great meals. It was always fast meals. Everyone came around. It was just our immediate family, but I don't think it was as of important of like all parts of the family that come, a big tradition of making different types of foods, which I wish I was exposed to early on, but it wasn't. But as an adult has seeked out that and actually lived in different countries, learning how to make different type of meals and watching them cook and how they use their regional ingredients as well. And I think we just truly enjoy that aspect of breaking bread with someone and friends. And I truly cherish that with all friends and family.
Totally agreed. That's essentially our show in a nutshell.
So go get your beverage of choice, y'all. Wine, tequila, coffee, tea.
definitely just hang out with us like you're hanging out with some friends, and join us next time on Oh for Food's Sake.